This is Anderson Penn's podcast, episode 223 for Wednesday, April 5th, 2017. This is Brian.
Wow, that's like quite the radio voice there. This is Lisa. Coming down with a cold.
I am not through my first cup of coffee yet. So.
So we started it out. I'm yawning. Sorry about that. I haven't gotten through mine either. We are barely back from the Long Island Pen Show. Got back Monday afternoon.
Right? I thought yesterday was Thursday.
Yeah, that makes today Friday. Yes.
Ever the optimist, but alas,
Awesome.
It is not. So
drove to Long Island on, when did we leave?
Thursday?
Wednesday night.
Wednesday night?
To arrive Thursday so we could get a decent night's sleep. Rained the entire drive.
Every mile, every single mile.
Oh my God. I had such a headache by the time we got there, just from the noise of the rain.
Well, we left on Thursday, get there Friday.
Oh, that's right, left Thursday.
Yes, because there was nothing to do on Friday.
Correct.
Except go shopping.
We went shopping?
At the Target. Which I really think was a Walmart with like a banner over the Walmart display that,
I have a thing for Walmart, or for Targets. I love Target. And it's always fun to go to a new Target or in a completely different market, a whole new city. Different Targets carry different things, and an employee hit Brian with a cart, just ran into him.
Well, first we're pulling into the lot, and it looks like it's like a zombie land
like
or
Armageddon.
something. Armageddon, there are carts everywhere. We're like swerving through, serpentine through the parking lot.
Yeah, it looked like a war zone. There had been some rain, but I didn't think it was that torrential that people are just abandoning their carts mid-parking lot. It was crazy.
Yeah, and
we
I got
get
hit.
in, and then some employee was simply not paying attention and just ran into Brian and was barely like, "Oh, hey, yeah, sorry."
Sorry, dude.
Crap everywhere in the aisles. I mean, this was an embarrassing Target. I have to say. We got our water and whatever we needed and got out of there, but it was not a good Target shopping experience. And I don't know that I've ever uttered those words before.
I'm not going back. Anyway.
We always stay at the same hotel. And this year,
We got the worst room.
there was this patch on the floor in the shower. And at first it looked like one of those non-skid pads. No, it was actually covering up a big crack in the shower. So when you stood where you needed to stand under the shower head, you could feel the floor moving and giving. And so this non-skid looking patch was actually just a patch. Just not a great start to the show, but as much as it's difficult to get in and out of the show with our cart and everything because it's not in a hotel, we do get to see some great people. And we get to see some fun things, but it's not a show that we do a lot of buying at, which I like. That means
I don't particularly like it.
Brian doesn't get to come home with a lot, so that's pretty cool.
I didn't get to go around to all the tables.
I know I did that well, didn't I?
Sometimes when you're on the other side of the table, the extent of your browsing is literally turning 180 degrees to look at the person behind you, what they have on their table from their side of the table. So
Paul Arano had some cool stuff.
Yeah, Paul's got some great stuff. Paul Arano's right behind us, and so I just turn around, I'm kind of looking over, and every once in a while he's got something I'm interested in, but I think he's now. We were talking about some Japanese pens, and I know he had some a couple years ago that I was interested in, and now he keeps all that stuff for himself. He said so. He didn't really have much on the table, but
Paul's daughter Sarah was there with him, and
she's a trip.
She's great. She's a sweetie. The aisles for the attendees were quite wide, which was it's always nice when you're not jam packed. And the space between the tables for the vendors was decent
Oh, it's
as
huge,
well.
yeah.
It was
It's
very
really,
big. It was
very
really
nice,
nice.
yeah.
Except people kept coming and walking through, and Sarah and I kept blockading off the ends of the aisles because people would come and then try to shop from the vendor side of
I
it.
thought it was another aisle.
Or people were coming behind and messing with things on the back side of our grid, which is back stock or stuff saved for customers. It's not for public access. And people didn't seem to be aware, even with the chairs blocking it, or maybe they didn't care, that this was not where they were supposed to be. So it was a constant battle to keep people out of there who didn't belong.
So.
It was always an interesting show.
You know, I saw a couple interesting pens at the show.
And what, do I blame George Romakis for that?
No,
or-
no.
Oh, good. He
You
can
know,
live.
George did show me an interesting pen.
Of course
Actually,
he
it
did.
wasn't really a pen. It was a pen, but it was a weird thing. But no, I had a gentleman out of the blue walked up to me and said, "I hear you buy pens." And I'm like,
Oh,
"Well,
God, here we go.
on occasion, yes, I do buy pens."
Did you tell him when Lisa's not watching?
Yeah, well, you know, we kind of moved over to the paper and kind of, you know, whispered. No, I don't know who sent him over, but the guy has a big leather briefcase and he plops it down on the table, and then he pulls out two of these clear threaded tubes. You know, these tubes that you can send pens in, and you twist them and then they tighten up. They're really nice tubes. I used to use them when I was shipping pens years ago. And he pulls the first one out of his bag, and he doesn't even have to take it out, and I already know what it is. This thing is a baseball bat. This thing is huge.
Nice.
It's a Waterman 20. It doesn't even fit in the tube. And the guy's like, "Well, you know, I suppose I should probably get something else for this." I'm like, "Yeah, maybe, you know."
It's a pretty impressive pen. Protect it.
You know, and for those of you who don't know what a Waterman 20 is, this is the largest size pen that Waterman ever made. This is black chased hard rubber, is in really perfect condition, slight oxidation, no cracks in the cap that I could see. Imprints were perfect. It's eyedropper. It has the number 10 nib. There's everything about this is fantastic. You know, I pretty much I knew there was no way I was going to be able to afford this pen, and because I asked him, I said, "Well,
That's right.
what are you thinking?" And he started in four figures, and I said, "Yeah, no, go see, you know, Bob Novak or somebody." And then he had another pen I didn't even bother looking at. He had a Waterman 46 Safety, but I'm sure it was. If it was anything like the 20, it was fantastic. But you don't see a Waterman 20 very often. You
No,
know,
that's
they don't-
cool.
they don't
They're
come up.
not out in the wild all that often anymore. So
I would like
good
one of
for
my.
you
I would,
that you got to see.
I would.
it.
I would like one in my collection someday.
Not today.
I have almost every one of the Waterman eyedroppers, the numbers. So, you know, the 12, 13, 14, 15.
Okay.
Even a 17, but no 20.
All right.
So anniversary next year or something. Christmas?
Next year. I think we have most of this year taken care of,
So
if I'm correct.
anyway, the point being, you never know what you're going to see. Last year, out of the blue, one of our customers came up to us, and he had a Waterman 7. He had two Waterman 7 pinks.
Yep.
So apparently there were a lot of large Watermans in the Long Island area, so in the wild. So
Well, it's always fun to have customers and friends bring pens just to show off, not necessarily to sell. So it's always interesting to see what other people have.
yep, yeah, I passed them on.
Good answer. For us, some of the nice things about shows are the people. We say that all the time, and we truly mean it. We got to see a number of people who we see only at one or two shows. We did miss seeing Jenny and Bill this year. Usually we get together with them, but they weren't able to make it. We did have our, I don't want to say our annual treat, because I don't want to imply that we take it for granted, but
It's happened a couple years in a row.
our annual treat from our friend Dan. On Saturday, the last couple of years, he has brought us coffee, which is just heavenly.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's really, really
it's so
sweet.
thoughtful.
Yeah.
And then on Sunday, he brings coffee and then some kind of goodies to eat on the way home. And this year we were really well behaved, and we saved the cookies for when we got home
Black
to
and
share.
whites.
Yep, black and white cookies to share with the staff. And so
Yeah, and we need to end this podcast quick because there's only 2 left in the lobby. So
there might be some downstairs.
I think there are, but I know Dave and Gianni each had a bunch of them yesterday. So
Ooh. So that's always sweet and greatly appreciated.
yeah, appreciate it. You know,
Especially since there is a cafeteria at the Hofstra Student Union, and it's really good.
It's pretty nice.
It's just really hard to get all the way out there, wait in line, and so sometimes a cup of coffee can really just make all the difference.
yeah, and
It's
you're
cool.
standing behind the table all day,
Yeah.
and you know if you can't get away from the table, any kind of sustenance is pretty good. I do appreciate that in Long Island. They have, at least in the morning anyway, right away, they always have water,
Yes.
which is really nice. We usually bring our own water, but it's nice to have extra. Grab a couple bottles, and then
Yes.
you can always stay hydrated during the day. Because you're talking a lot. You know, you're talking for
All
8,
day.
10 hours, and it, you know, it's, you know, pen shows can be a lot of work. You know, they're fun, but you know, you sit there talk all day, you get dehydrated. So.
We also had our friend Kevin come up and gave us something really interesting and much appreciated, and that's all I'm going to say.
Yep.
Very cool. Thank you, Kevin.
Yep.
We will put it to good use, and hopefully not. Kind of.
And thank you for your service.
Yes. What else do we do? Did you? We went to Olive Garden when we were there,
Yep.
and
The Garden of Olive.
it's really a short show. It's Saturday and Sunday, and Saturday we got in really early, set up, and it's just nothing but work all day, eat something, work all day Sunday, pack up and leave.
Well, this year we didn't get to set up. In the past years, we've been able to set up Friday night, or at least move our stuff in. You know, I gotta admit, I almost kind of liked setting up Saturday morning better, because otherwise we would still get to the show at the same hour, and then we're just standing there, you know,
Tweaking things, yeah.
tweaking things, and we're just busy and we're getting things done. You know, it was a long day, but
Yep.
you know, by the time Saturday's done, your show's half over.
One of the things that the Long Island show does is they have a couple tables set up in the main aisle, which is also right in front of us. One is nothing but ink bottles that you can test, and so people can come and try all sorts of inks that maybe they've never tried. And I think that's a nice benefit for the attendees.
And the other table's full of cookies.
One
and
has water,
chocolate.
one has cookies and pastries.
Well, that was a good boy. I didn't have much this year.
Me
So.
either. So let's see what else we did.
Well, the big thing.
The big thing you have in your pocket, our Peacock, our limited edition sailor pen, our special edition. We've known about it for a couple weeks. We knew it was coming, and it finally arrived. We chose not to take it to Long Island because we have a tendency to have things stolen there, and we didn't want this to be taken. But we were super excited to get this in hand. We've started doing pre-orders, and it's absolutely gorgeous. So there's kind of a, not a bet, but almost everybody on staff has already set one aside.
Almost. Not everybody.
It's all good, Nico. But we're excited to have it and can't wait for it to for all of them to actually come in, because Brian's not doing a very good job of sharing.
It's been on my desk for a week.
You have a
I
bunch of
shared with all the creative people.
I'm not very creative, so you didn't share with me.
No, it's a beautiful teal rhodium trim. And maybe the best part, and I think what really brings it out, is the nib.
This is gorgeous.
It's a tritone or two-tone, depending on how you want to, what do you want to call it, but rhodium gold, rhodium 14-karat nib. And this nib is only found on one other sailor pen, and that's the Pro Gear 2 Slim black with rhodium trim. And I know you're thinking, Pro Gear 2 Slim, yeah, nobody has that pen. So
This is cool.
here's a chance to actually get this nib. It's gorgeous. the teal and the gold, really complement each other well. The rhodium looks good. So we're excited about it. Delivery will be December 2017 this year. And to answer a lot of the questions, we had some people calling. This is a pre-order. You do pay for it now, and then we ship when it comes in. So, but there are only 100 pieces.
Yes.
And actually 93 available outside of Anderson Pens proper. But it's just a gorgeous pen. And yes, it's standard size only. It is not the large size. And the primary reason we did that was for cost reasons.
Yes.
I know a lot of people say they want the large size, but when I tell them the price, they have to, I got to be willing to sell 100 pens. So
Yes.
But nice looking pen. That's the big news for the week. That was our teaser. And we've got a couple other new stuff that actually came in.
Yep, this is cool.
Finally, after how long has this?
It's been a while.
Months.
The TWSBI Vac 700R, which is the redesigned Vac 700, and nib units are now available. When TWSBI was making the Vac Mini, they discovered a way to eke out a teeny tiny bit more volume. Although I have to say, I don't think you need it.
And increase the flow.
Yes, and increase the flow. So they suspended production of the Vac 700 and retooled the machines, redesigned it, whatever it is, the engineering stuff is. And so now instead of 2 valves, there's 1, and you have better capacity by just a tiny bit and better flow. And so it is now re-released as the Vac 700R. Now, one thing to remember is that the nib units for the Vac 700R only fit that pen.
Yep.
The old Vac 700 will only take Vac 700 nibs.
So
They don't interchange.
don't interchange, and 700 nibs will be made available for a short
A
period
little
of time.
while
Yep.
longer. Yep.
And then, now, that being said, I am sure one could disassemble the nib unit and swap the nibs, but since these come with the section in the housing, that's how it is.
Yep.
So, also in Sailor news this week, and this came on Thursday just before we left, the announcement of a brand new 1911 standard.
I think it's pretty.
Yeah, it's a nice pen. Ivory with gold trim and gold 14 karat nib.
It's really a very pretty, delicate looking pen. It's not, it's not black with gold. It's just very light. It's very springy. I like it. I think it's different. Keep going, Sailor, with interesting things that are not black with gold and black with silver.
Yeah, we get a little expansion on the 1911 standard size this year. We've got the Fresca in the standard. We have the Ivory.
That.
And now the Peacock is a standard. So we do have some other options in that size range, and there will be more North American exclusives coming. Now this is not a
Yes.
North American exclusive, but there will be more North American exclusives coming shortly. So
Very excited about some of these.
great stuff coming from Sailor this year. It's going to be a fantastic year, and I'm excited for expanding my pen collection.
But
So anyway, 1911, and the same price as all the rest. And it looks, I know some of you are thinking, well, we had not too long ago a 1911 large in an ivory white,
this is
a pearl white.
definitely,
This is definitely more ivory.
yes,
it's
more
tanner.
ivory, less white.
Yeah. And it was hard to see because we were actually, Mike Madison and I were from Ink Dependence. We're looking at the two in Chicago, and the lighting was just kind of weird there. They actually looked the same, but the 1911 large pearl white is more pearlescent. It's more
Chicago?
Or, I'm sorry, in Long Island. Yeah, this is definitely a
These
tanner,
are different color.
Yeah, different color. So,
Cool.
and you're going to talk about the next one. 'Cause
I am.
I don't have any idea what's going
I
on
am
here.
excited about this.
All
So
this bullet journaling stuff
on the
that I don't
screen
understand.
is a blue notebook with a black elastic cover.
Okay, we're moving
elastic
on.
closure. Shut up. This is the My Essential notebook by Claire Fontaine. Pretty new. We were actually sent some as a sample, and Kim fell in love and said, I have to have the blue. So we ordered all of them. And the cool thing about these are great for bullet journaling. And apparently the creative team is all doing a bullet journal. I don't know if it's a challenge or a contest, or they're all into bullet journaling right now. This is cool. It's an A5 size. It's thread bound, so it's sewn in. And the nice thing is that the numbers, the pages are numbered. So you can keep track of what's on what page. And there are several contents, like a table of contents. I'm trying to count and talk at the same time. That's not working. Pages in the beginning. Looks like 6 or 8. So the gang is all doing this bullet journal challenge. Kim was showing us her notebook. She's got her table of contents in the front. And then, what does she have? Daily.
Yeah, some daily stuff, and I don't understand. I have to do some more reading on this bullet journaling. We were talking about it in the car on the way back, and it just seems like a lot of work. But that's just me.
You know, it's like a lot of people decorate their planners, and it's almost more scrapbooking than planner. But I think it's a different way to use your pens to keep track of things. And, you know, maybe if you don't want, a planner and a notebook and everything else. But it'll be interesting to see what the gang comes up with their own bullet journaling. I think these are great. Your typical Claire Fontaine, beautiful smooth paper that you've come to love and expect.
Ivory paper.
These are ivory, yeah. And it's just 90-gram paper. It's really beautiful. So I need to see if they have it in a bigger size. I like a bigger size.
Okay.
But really nice, come in several different colors, and we do have those on the site now. And feel free to email Kim and see how she's doing with her bullet journaling.
Yeah, it's like blue, black, red,
Green,
yep.
tan.
So,
There you go.
all right. So there's that's the skinny for the week, I guess. We've got some exciting things coming up next week, I'm sure.
We do.
Well, I have this thing right here that I'm dealing with.
What's that?
What's this? He doesn't know what this is.
What is
Anyway.
We've still got a couple new staff members we have been training and getting up to speed. Oh, yeah. And so that's been fun, and I'm really excited to be able to shove some things off my plate onto Craig. And life is good. It's just busy, busy, busy. We have the Atlanta Pen Show in a couple weeks. And, for us, pen shows are kind of this revolving family reunion. Who was it? Someone referred to us as carnies.
Carnies, yeah. Barry Gabby said that.
But it was kind of funny when at the end of the show, people are saying, see you in 2 weeks. It's like, no, it can't be 2 weeks. I need some time at home. Sleep in our own bed, eat our own food, hang with the gang.
I do want to mention, I don't think we mentioned this last week. If people go to our website, we now have a new...
Oh, yeah, this is new.
We now have a new Google walkthrough.
Yes.
So it's up on our About Us page. So if you were familiar, and I believe they actually have cached the old version. I think I have a copy of it.
You can compare.
You could, yeah. And this version gives you a little more up-to-date version of what the store looks like, a couple more stops along the way, so you can kind of see a little better, zoom in on the cases. But that's up on the website, or if you Google us, Anderson Pens, you can find it there too. Also, I will say for those people who are big, serious Sailor fans, keep your eyes peeled on the blog within the next 7 days or so, maybe less. There will be, I'm expecting maybe a shipment of something in, and that's probably all I should say.
I'm going to have the guys not call you when it arrives so that it'll sit around for like half a day, and then you come down after lunch and you're like, oh my God.
No, good stuff. Really, really good stuff. That's all. Keep your eyes and ears peeled for the blog for this.
Let's just say we've been waiting on some of this for a very long time.
So, anyway, I think that's it for this week.
That's it. We got a lot of work to do. I am rearranging my half of the office after this, so.
I'm going to go downstairs, I think. Thanks so much for joining us this week. Tune in next week for more talk about pens, ink, and paper.
Follow the blog for news, ink reviews, Kim's hot stuff, and all sorts of other fun things. And check us out on social media as Anderson Pens.
Have a great day, everyone.